And I'm going to show you the eraser comes like this. It's felt on the bottom. So all you have to do is peel the sticker piece off. Sometimes it's easier to get off than others, but you just have to keep working at it. There seems to be like some of them that come off really easy and others that are a little bit of a struggle. So you can see our machine is done, so I'll just finish getting our sticker off. You can see sometimes there's just, you just have to work at some pieces. I'm just going to take my eraser and I'll give it that finish sanding. And just enough to remove any stickiness and to make it nice and smooth. Okay, and then I always just give the edges a quick sand as well. Make sure they're nice. And the difference is phenomenal. You can feel. So then I'm going to take my wireless vacuum. And just clean up my mess. Now it's ready for our decal. Okay, so to make the teacher eraser, I'm going to use Silhouette Studio. I do use Business Edition. I believe the Basic Edition is free. Okay, so I'm going to go to Open File. I know the file I want is listed as this. Okay, so when it comes into our design program, it is all going to be connected. You can make it smaller or bigger as you please, based on the size of the eraser that you're looking for. So I know that my eraser is 5 inches wide by 2.25 inches in height. So I'm going to change that. And because I want to change each dimension, I'm going to click unlock. So the height I want to be 2.25 and the width I want to be 5 inches. If you want to make it a little bit smaller so that it doesn't go to the complete rim of your design, you can make it a little bit smaller. So I actually might make it 4.95 and 2.2, just so it's a tiny bit smaller than my actual eraser. And then I'm going to go, because I need to type the name of the teacher in, I'm going to go to our text box and I'm going to type in Mr. Dion. And I'm going to make sure that is highlighted, and then I'm going to come over here on the right and click this A. This will allow me to change the font. Okay, yeah, so the font I changed to Chocolate Candy Cups. And I'm going to make it the size that I would like. I want there to be a good and fair space between the other letters just so it doesn't look overcrowded. I think that's a pretty good size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything, and I want to center it both directions. That way I can ensure it's directly in the center of my design. And so I think that looks pretty good. I am going to weld this together. And I'm going to save this file. Save to hard drive. I'm going to save it as Mr. Dion, and I'm going to save it as an SVG. Okay, so we're going to open up Cricut Design Space, and we're going to hit over here, Upload on the bottom left. We're going to select Upload Image. We are going to select Browse, and then you're going to find your design, whatever you saved it as. Here's the one that I did. I'm going to click Upload here in the bottom right. And then in Recent Uploads, I'm going to select it and click Add to Canvas. So the size does get changed when we bring it into Cricut. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger for us to see. But then I'm going to go up here and size it the way that I would like. So I know that the height, I want it to be 2.2 inches, which works out to, and I am going to leave this unlocked because I want to alter the width and height myself. So for the height, for 2.2 inches, that is going to be 5.58 centimeters. And for the width, I wanted the 4.95 inches, and that is going to be 12.573. Okay, so that looks good. The only other thing we need to do is weld our design together, because as you can see over here on the right, all of the letters, everything is going to print by itself. I want this to print together, so I just have to beat out my design and I can attach it to my eraser all in one piece instead of trying to line up all of these designs. So in order to do that, I'm going to highlight the whole design, I'm going to double click, and I'm going to click Weld. You can see now that that has attached everything, and now we're going to get one design cut out. So I'm going to select Make It. And I'm going to select our mat here, Continue. I'm going to use Sizer HTV for this design. So I am going to mirror our design because it is HTV. That's going to allow it to print backwards, so when I transfer it onto our wood, it will be the correct way. So I know that I need to find a piece of vinyl for my mat that goes up to about 13 and 6. Okay, so I'm going to select Everyday Iron-On Vinyl. And you can see now our Make It light is flashing, so we'll hit OK. Okay, so I've opened up my scrap binder here, and I know that I need to find a piece that is about 13 and 6. So I'm just going to grab my mat. And I always try to use the smallest piece that I have so that I can use up the most of my scraps. So you could see this piece wouldn't be big enough. Oh, this piece will be good. No. Okay. Close my scrap binder up here. So I found this piece. It's a pretty tight fit, but I'm going to try it out. So with HTV vinyl, you always make sure you put the shiny side facing down, the matte side facing you. So I need to go about 13 to 6. So this is a pretty tight piece. So I am actually going to put it out slightly from the line because I know that there is a small area around the outside that the mat doesn't use, and I want it to be as close to the 13 as possible. So you can see I've put it out from the line just a little bit so I can reach the 13. I think that's going to be good enough. Let's put this down. Okay. We'll load this in our machine. And I do need to pull this away from the wall. Okay, so I'm going to select Everyday Iron-On Vinyl. And you can see now our Make It Light is flashing, so we'll hit OK. And you can see that's why I pulled it out from the wall, because the mat does go behind. A few times I have forgotten and it runs into the wall. Okay, that's going to take a little while to cut, and I'll be back when it's ready. Okay, so you can see this says we can unload. You can see our design printed out quite nicely. So I'm just going to turn my mat over and peel the mat away from the vinyl. Put this back on. Okay, and I will just cut off the bottom of this because it can be used for another project. So this will go in my this can go in my scrap binder. Okay, and for this one, should be, I think, pretty easy to weed. Just do this over here so you can see. There's going to be a lot of little weeding for all those little spots in all of the letters. You'll have to weed all of those out. But you really want to make sure that you don't lose the important pieces like your dots, your eye pieces, etc. So I'm going to finish weeding this out and I'll be back when it's ready. Okay, so I finished weeding everything out. Little hack, if you don't use one of these already, it's great for getting the little pieces off of your hand if you use that for weeding like I do, or you can get them off your table. This is great when you're weeding. So I'm going to take our eraser and our weeded out design, and I'm just going to attach it Okay, so you can see what it would look like. If I were doing this again, I would make the design just a tiny bit smaller so it wasn't so close to the edges. You can see mine's just a tiny bit too big. So it's still you're still gonna be able to see the final look, but I would suggest making this a little bit smaller than I did. I think it would look better if it wasn't touching the edges. So I have heat up my Cricut mini press. I'm just gonna put a Teflon sheet over top. I've heated my Cricut mini press to the lowest setting, and then I'm just gonna press. So I'm just pressing for about 15 seconds and moving my Cricut mini press over slightly. About 10 to 15 seconds in each spot, and then moving my Cricut mini press over. Okay, we're gonna see if that is enough. And you'll be able to tell, see the vinyl is still lifting a little, so it definitely needs to be pressed longer. Okay, we'll see what it's like now. Okay, so it's coming on. I can see some of the glue on one of the letters there. Okay, we'll just finish pressing it first. I do like to press again after removing the sheet. Okay, and you can see pressing it again kind of took care of some of that. And there you go. You have your own personalized chalkboard eraser. These make a great teacher's gift, etc.